Thank you for having me, MJ, on blockchain. My name is Amir. I'm the PR manager for Ice Rock Mining, the picture you see above. I'm also an investor. I actually got involved with them first as an investor. And what you're looking at, this picture here, is the inside of one of the alleys inside the mine. What's unique about us is the owner, Malik Morsajed, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, he purchased this mine. It is a former Soviet military bunker, and you'll see a picture of the front of it. And we refurbished it and turned it into a Bitcoin mining farm. The reason why it made a lot of sense is because the natural temperature inside the mine is 12 degrees Celsius. There's no cooling cost, basically, for the miners. The other thing is that the cost of power in Kazakhstan is only 3 cents per kilowatt hour. So we have two very distinct advantages. There's a third advantage, which I'll talk about in a moment. Our capital structure is 10% goes to management, 20% goes to care and maintenance, 20% is reinvested in miners so that you don't have to stop mining after 2 years, because ASIC miners will stop after 2 years. So we reinvest 20% so that you can continue getting paid beyond 2 years. And 50% goes to the token holders, you guys. It's an ERC20 token on the Ethereum network. Everything is in the smart contract on the blockchain. Now, Bitcoin is a big threat to the banking system because Bitcoin achieves consensus naturally without a central bank and without a law. We all exchange Bitcoin, but we all know that it's decentralized. Nobody is telling us what Bitcoin is and what it should be worth. So when you think about how many people are involved in Bitcoin and the amount of assets that have yet to come into the blockchain, you realize that Bitcoin is still a baby. There's less than 1 or 2% of assets allocated to Bitcoin. Now, why is that important from a miner's perspective? It's important because we believe that we're just at the beginning of this. In other words, we want to be mining Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin because that's going to create a tremendous amount of wealth in the years ahead. Now, what's kind of crazy about the situation is that even at such a stage, we're able to generate ROI of 20% per month right now. And that's purely through the mechanism of mining. It's not a special advantage that we have. You can go to a lot of different miners and they're generating these returns. And that's because the risk component is mismatched. There's a dislocation. Your returns are usually higher when there's a lot more risk. But we believe that risk is not being correctly viewed right now. So what you see as risky on the blockchain for a miner, for example, is not risky. This will change as people increase confidence and consensus in the Bitcoin network and in Bitcoin itself. Once that happens, the margins will shrink because more people will want to get involved in mining and they will bid the price up. Today, your money will buy you 20% per month. Once more people come into the market, they will bid up that price and margins will go down for the investors. That's why right now is such an opportunity. That's why Genesis Mining is running out of mining contracts. All the miners, our biggest challenge is keeping up with the demand. So it's important to understand that. And we as miners, we're the creators of a new capital market. A capital market that allows individuals to make 10, 15, 20% per month without the type of risk, this is my opinion, okay, without the type of risk that typically comes with 10-15% per month returns, which is unheard of. And that's why I say it's a new capital market. This is an opportunity, it's a window, it's a time where money can be made by individuals who have access to investments that are yet to be dominated by Wall Street and those type of people. And that's what we're here to do, is to provide a platform that enables individuals to participate in a new capital market. So with that, questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll take
Do you
this
have
one.
your own algorithm to basically calculate the nonce for the block and the rewards?
So yeah, so we only mine Bitcoin.
I mean, do you have your own algorithm to validate the blocks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it's a proprietary.
It's all part of the ASIC. The ASIC miner is mining right away. Once
No, you
plug
need a
it in.
software as well. So some companies basically write their own code. So it's not about having a bigger hash power. It's
Right.
about having the right algorithm to find the nonce to get rewarded.
So I don't know the answer to that question actually. The CTO would know the answer to that question.
Second question is, if you reinvest,
Yes.
doesn't that dilute my share?
Yes,
in
you do get
future?
diluted. You do get diluted a little bit, but you get diluted. The compensating factor is that you don't lose your investment completely after 2 years. So there's a certain amount of dilution because we all get diluted because you've gone from 50%, and as your hash power slows down, let's say a year from now, you're only reinvesting that 20%. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. Yes, you get diluted, but if the price of Bitcoin goes up, then you got compensated even for your dilution, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of got to look at everything, basically.
What about your estimated ROI over 12 months period? Because the challenge is going longer with mining rather than shorter.
So again, there's variables in this, right? What I'm basically providing is today's snapshot. We all know that if Bitcoin price goes up, you know, the difficulty will go up, but your ROI also goes up. So I'm giving you what it is as of now. That's also why I addressed our long-term view of Bitcoin. You gotta have a stance if you're gonna get into mining, you know, because you're not in it to make, you know, 4 times your money like an ICO and then you sell and you go to the next one. So our stance is long-term view. If you have that long-term view, then you'll know that some months you'll have more, some months you'll have less, but in the long run, you're way ahead of the game.
My biggest problem with Genesis mining is that I have to wait 4 to 5 months
Right.
before I get started.
Right.
How does it go with your company?
Okay, so the reason why you have that problem is because the biggest challenge for miners is getting the capital expenditures, the asset, the miners. So, you know, I'd love to sit here and say we're never going to have a problem. No matter how much money we raise, we're going to get our miners, you know, the next day. That's part of the logistics that we have to deal with, and that Genesis has to deal with, and everybody has to deal with. And there's no quick answer to that. We all have to, you know, work on capital allocation. We got our money, now we got to make sure we get X amount of miners operating so that we can generate the returns for those investors. So that's part of the logistics that we work on. We do purchase from Bitmain directly. We have a relationship with Bitmain in China. Malik goes to China about, I don't know, once every 2-3 months. He's constantly going back and forth. So, you know, that's kind of our job. That's one of the things that we have to do well.
Because if you look at the market, for example, for S9 miner, you'd be paying around $1,500, which is 5,000 dirhams. And on soup.com, you can, for double the price, you can
Yeah, this is one of the problems is